Just when I thought the King of the United Kingdom was the only white bootlicker to Qatari Arabs, Donny 2Dolls Trump lets his allegiance to Qatar and his bootlicking be known. We need to talk about the West's toxic relationship with Arabian leaders that turns them into shoe-shining bootlicking sellouts. Because here's the headline: Trump just came out praising Qatar as a great ally of the United States, while simultaneously wagging a finger at Israel, saying, "Be very, very careful," after an airstrike in Doha. He even called the Qatari Prime Minister a wonderful person and moaned that Qatar just needs better public relations because people speak badly of it. Imagine that. Human rights abuses, sponsorship of extremists, suppression of free speech. Just bad PR, according to Donny 2Dolls. Next thing you know, he'll be pitching Qatar a rebrand like it's a bankrupt casino in Atlantic City. And this isn't just about Trump. This is about a pattern, a disease of the West, the UK, the US, Europe, every so-called champion of freedom and democracy, kneeling down in the desert sand to polish the gilded boots of Arabian rulers who treat human rights like toilet paper. Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, pick your poison. Our leaders can barely stand upright when the oil money, gas money, or investment money starts flowing. Suddenly the spine collapses, the morals evaporate, and it's all, "Yes, Your Excellency, of course, Your Highness, right away, Your Majesty." They become royal valets in Armani suits. Let's look at Qatar. This is a state with the third largest natural gas reserves in the world, sitting on a sovereign wealth fund of over 500 billion, spraying money into global real estate like a fire hose. London? They practically own it. The Shard? Qatari. Canary Wharf? Qatari. Harrods? Qatari. The Olympic Village? Qatari. Even the UK's national grid, our damn electricity, has Qatari fingerprints on it. Qatar owns more London bricks than the King of England. No wonder His Majesty keeps smiling politely. It's hard to flex imperial pride when your landlord is in Doha. And the US isn't any different. What's America's biggest base in the Middle East? Al Udeid Air Base. Where is it? Qatar. Over 10,000 US troops stationed there. That's not an ally. That's a landlord with nuclear leverage. You step out of line with Doha, and suddenly your whole Middle Eastern strategy is hanging on a Qatari leash. That's why Trump's singing their praises, because the Pentagon already has both feet firmly planted in the sand of their backyard. But let's not pretend this is just about strategy. This is about money. The West loves Arabian rulers because they're walking cash dispensers, arms deals worth billions, construction contracts, football sponsorships, World Cups, glitzy skyscrapers built on the bent backs of migrant workers treated like disposable tools. Let's not forget Qatar's World Cup, the so-called festival of football erected on the graves of thousands of South Asian labourers. These men died in the heat, lived in slave-like conditions, stripped of passports, underpaid, overworked, invisible. And what did the West do? We sent our football teams to play ball. We broadcast it. We celebrated it. Because the check cleared. That's bootlicking at its most grotesque. Trump isn't unique here. He's just loud about it. When Joe Biden fist-bumped the Saudi Crown Prince after Khashoggi's murder, that was bootlicking. When the UK's Prime Minister rolls out the red carpet for Gulf sheikhs while preaching global Britain, that's bootlicking. When France sells fighter jets to Abu Dhabi while talking about liberté and égalité, that's bootlicking. It's the same dance. Bow low, kiss the ring, count the cash. And let's talk about hypocrisy. The West lectures everyone else about democracy, free speech, women's rights. But when it comes to Qatar, Saudi, UAE, suddenly the moral compass spins like a broken fidget spinner. Migrant abuse? Oh, but they're allies. Gender apartheid? Oh, but they invest in our universities, funding extremist groups across the region. Oh, but they buy our weapons. You can't claim to be the defender of freedom while tongue-polishing the boots of monarchs who jail poets, crush dissent, and treat half their population as property. Trump's little PR campaign for Qatar is just the mask slipping. It's the open-mouth version of what all these leaders are already whispering behind closed doors. The message is simple. We don't care what you do to your people, as long as you keep the oil flowing, the bases open, and the checks signed. And here's a fact. This toxic relationship doesn't just corrupt Western politics, it makes the West weaker. Because when you sell out your values, you can't hold anyone else accountable. How do you condemn Russia for invading Ukraine while you bankroll and enable Gulf monarchies that crush human rights daily? How do you scream about Chinese authoritarianism while kissing the sandals of Qatari emirs? You can't. You lose the moral high ground, and the world sees the hypocrisy. Let's call it what it is: strategic prostitution. The West dresses it up as diplomacy or partnership, but at its core, it's about selling dignity for cash. It's about leaders who will bend the knee to anyone with a fat enough wallet, and Trump, bless his golden toilet soul, just says the quiet part out loud. Great ally, wonderful person, needs better PR. That's the language of a man trying to sell you a timeshare in Doha. And it's insulting, frankly. Insulting to the workers who built those stadiums and never came home. Insulting to the people silenced under authoritarian regimes. Insulting to the citizens in the West who are told that our leaders stand for freedom and values when in reality they're polishing boots and holding begging bowls. So here's the truth. The West's toxic relationship with Arabian leaders isn't strength. It isn't strategy. It isn't diplomacy. It's dependency dressed up as dignity. It's the slow erosion of values in exchange for investments, arms deals, and real estate portfolios. It's a sickness. And until we admit that, until we stop worshipping money over principle, we'll keep seeing moments like this, where the US president kneels at the altar of Doha and tells us all it's just good PR. Trump may be the loudest bootlicker in the room right now, but he's not the only one. From Buckingham Palace to the White House, to the Elysee, our so-called leaders keep proving that when it comes to Arabian rulers, the West doesn't lead, it grovels, and I for one am sick of the sound of shoes being licked.